Athens KFOR. Call the show now at 402-489-1240.
Welcome to it, Real Red Reaction, as we are here in Iowa City. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal. Iowa does what Iowa does, walking off Nebraska 13-10. There's been a lot of heartbreakers, but this is maybe the most insulting in this Iowa-Nebraska series when you look at stats, total yards, and just how well Nebraska's defense played tonight at Kinnick, but to no avail. 13-10, Iowa ends Nebraska's regular season. The good news, Nebraska bowl bound. The bad news, another knife and then twist by Iowa. We're here at the Marriott right across from Kinnick. 10-0 at half, fellas. And Nebraska, a couple of drives that went double digits, but no points, and two costly turnovers in the second half that led to 6 points off of turnovers. Numbers to get in, 489-1240, 489-1240. We have a sea of black and gold drinking and partying. Thankfully, there is noise canceling, so you hear us and not the revelry. We are powered by the great folks at Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th and Old Cheney. Eat your feelings. We've been through this a lot, guys. We've been through this a ton, and Nebraska, damn near gift-wrapped that when it comes to the turnovers and just costly mistakes. A strip sack there on Dylan Rhule, the recovery by Iowa, a couple of run plays, and then a 51-yarder that just did sneak over the goalpost. Get your thoughts in at 489-1240. Elijah, it just felt uneasy at halftime. Bill and Will, I said Iowa's lucky to only be down 10-0. Iowa 0 for 10 on third down. One play, Caleb Johnson as good as advertised, the 72-yard touchdown dump off where all the goodwill the black shirts amassed tonight wiped away by a couple of missed tackles, but just another heart-wrenching ball game tonight. Bill Dolman's also with us here on Real Red Reaction.
You've seen the story before. It's Iowa winning the way Iowa wins football games. Kirk Ferentz has said it. He thinks offensive yardage is the most overrated statistic in football.
He's
which
right.
People have laughed at before, but it works for Iowa. Nebraska tonight had 20 first downs. Iowa had 5. Nebraska had 334 total yards of offense. Iowa had 164. Nebraska outrushed Iowa 144 yards to 49. Nebraska 8 of 17 on third down. Iowa did not pick up a single third down conversion. Nebraska had almost 20 more minutes time of possession than Iowa, 39 minutes to 21 minutes. And Nebraska loses the football game. It's what Iowa has done for years. It's why Kirk Ferentz still has a job, because that's just what they do. He's got a football team that makes big-time plays in big-time moments whenever the game is on the line. Iowa did it again tonight. The field goal kicker sneaks one home, and Husker fans go home sad. The consolation is there's a bowl game coming in a month, but tonight is not for that. Tonight is for dejection because Nebraska still has not beaten the curse of one-score games, and everything went right for them tonight, and it still ends in a one-score loss.
You needed one more score, fellas, and Nebraska couldn't and didn't get it. Special teams, problematic. And Nebraska, I mentioned, hey, Nebraska, Iowa lucky to only be down 10-0. Iowa, in the first half, started drives at the 50, at the 41, at the 43, and at the 42-yard line. And no points. The black shirts were all over it. Nebraska's run game, pretty decent. Had a little indecision by Dylan in a couple of drives in that first half, but he settled down. But Nebraska beat off the edge on that third down play that was the strip sack. And I don't know. We'll go around the horn. You never felt comfortable with this one because Nebraska did not put Iowa away, Will Wilson.
Yeah, I believe in radio. It's important to not be repetitive, right? A good radio show is not to be repetitive, have some fresh takes, be a little different. But this football team makes that impossible because we're sitting here saying the same things every single game. I mean, I don't like you guys have said it perfectly. I can't add anything else to what you guys said. I mean, just the same old bullcrap, man.
Bill, is your house losing? Bill Hooks, is your house losing their mind? How are the natives taking it?
It's not good. It is not good around here. I promise you that. Okay, I'm trying to stay back from it just a little bit, but I agree with Will, man. There's again so many missed opportunities, and you keep sitting here going, how many different ways can we find a way to keep a team in a game? How many ways can we find a way to let it, just to lose a game? And we continue to do that. Special teams, just missed passes like the Nayor pass that he misses, just dotted right in his hands. There's just so many opportunities that you had a chance to put this thing away, and you never felt comfortable. And Will, I agree with you. Like you don't want to be repetitive, but it's just the same old story. And they even showed it on the TV about the number of kicks Iowa has made against us to beat us, and here we are again.
Bill Dolman, did your wonderful pup Shaggy start barking in that fourth quarter?
No, he was loading the Glock.
For him, for you, for who?
It's what he does to relieve tension.
Well, we'll hear from Matt Rhule, possibly.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll hear from Dylan Raiola. We'll hear from this Nebraska football team that is probably off to Music City, but it could have been different tonight. Nebraska they needed one more score, right? So to kind of keep Iowa from hanging around, and wasn't enough.
Well, it was a case of Nebraska shooting themselves in the foot. Could they have used one more play? Sure, but they could have used 2 fewer boneheaded plays. It's as simple as that. And I struggle to call the Shavers play boneheaded. The result ends up being boneheaded because you're getting down and you're trying to make that play where the ball takes a weird hop. You think it goes off your own guy, and in the heat of the moment, you think, I need to get on top of this football. You're going to go back and watch the film, and you're going to say you need better communication. You need a better Peter call from your returner to make sure the guys stay away from that. You need to make sure he's yelling, I didn't touch that thing. Peter, stay away. That's one. The offensive line not being able to protect Raiola. They dodged a bullet 4 or 5 times in their own half of the field. I think Raiola was stripped 3 times and got on top of it, and is stripped once and can't get on top of it late. And it gives Iowa great field position to get the win. Not to mention the fact that Emmett also fumbled one on his own half of the field and got back on top of it. Like, Iowa was waiting for Nebraska to make the mistake that they knew Nebraska was going to make. That's what Nebraska does. It wasn't that Nebraska needed one more play. Nebraska needs to eliminate the boneheaded mistakes, the errors that gift football games away. And that's what happened tonight. Nebraska gifted that football game away. And I think Iowa, everyone on that sideline knew the gift was coming.
Well put, Bill Dolman. Your synopsis. Before that, hang on real quick, Bill. Bob, who is jovial.
We're going to go
last week.
Schmitty, we're going to go to Keaton first, okay?
One more time.
We're going to go to Keaton first, okay?
Sure.
All right.
Who's with us?
Yeah, we got Keaton on the line.
Keaton. Right? Keaton, welcome into Real Red Reaction. Thanks for hanging on.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
I think my takeaway is from the season, honestly, I feel like the Illinois game is what really popped the balloon. Not to go back that far, things changed. You would like to think the coaching and players can get past that hump. Don't think they did. Like, Dylan's young, give him time, but it's almost like if they would have had less time of possession throughout the game, I would have felt better watching it. Like, the more time you give Nebraska to make those mistakes, they will. It's inevitable, like you guys said. So, like, you just kind of see how it plays out, and you just have to watch and wait and hold your breath. And, like, I feel like the fan base is getting real on the edge of, like, how much can I continue to buy into it? That's where I'm at with it. It's like, I almost don't want to see that bowl game. I do. I'm happy for it. But it's just like you guys are saying, it's like those key moments, like, you can't. The only thing you can't do is fumble the ball here, and you find a way to do it. Like you have to set that perimeter. The offensive line has to set that perimeter, and you have to play fundamental football, and it's not happening. It hasn't happened honestly at the line of scrimmage since Poe was here. Like there's just not a sense of discipline that you see in the team.
Almost pitched a shutout. They gave up one play. Offense drove and moved the ball pretty well. They ran the ball pretty well, but you just couldn't cash in, right? And then you missed the field goal. Special teams is what drilled you tonight.
Yeah.
End of discussion. Keaton, we'll see how Nebraska responds in the bowl game, but this thing is absolutely as many times as you've had your tires slashed. This might be the deepest cut against the Hawkeyes because it was flat out unbelievable until, well, the next time you play these guys because they just keep coming back from the dead. Thanks for the phone call. Appreciate you listening. 489-1240. Real Red Reaction powered by Slim Chickens. We welcome in Bob. Bob, thanks for listening. Go ahead.
Well, as excited and happy as I was last week, I'm disappointed this week. To be up like they were at the half and then just not be able to get anything done. I get it, that it was bad weather to play a game, but they both played in that weather, and this game sort of leaves me speechless because it was in hand, and they just didn't finish. Too many drop balls. There's so many things that I find unacceptable, frankly.
I might have Sophia come pick us up.
Better outcome, Bob. That's absolutely for sure. And you said the magic F word right there. Finish. And that's something this team still needs to figure out. Bob, well, hang tight. At least there's a bowl game. But, man, this was This was rough. The Snitley boys are shaking their head. They need water and vodka and whiskey and all sorts of spirits tonight. Bob, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for listening, bud. Appreciate your sentiments and listenership, man.
Thanks.
There he is. Bill Dolman. Sum this bad boy up. This thing was a wreck. But now, just to paint the picture, we're watching from the balcony here at the hotel. We can see the Jumbotron before it actually happened. And timeout was called. The guy drills the first kick. They line up again. He sneaks it over the upright. This place where we're at erupts. Kinnick, of course, a block away, erupts. And does this remind you of Sooner Magic at all?
Yeah. Back then it was 2017 or 17-14 every year. And with these guys, it's 13-10, 13-10, 13-10, which when I was a kid, that was 13-10 KGMT. So that was a good memory. But this is erasing that. Hey, look, sometimes the best team does not win. And Nebraska is by far better than Iowa. I mean, I don't care who's their quarterback. I mean, that kid's not very good. Nebraska's defense was dynamite except for one play. For the most part, I thought the offensive game plan was pretty good, but Nebraska left. There was a throw that Dylan did not make to Emmett Johnson in the flat that would have probably gone for a touchdown. He overthrew Jalen Lloyd in the game, and early in the game, that would have been a touchdown. He overthrew Thomas Fedoni that would have kept a drive going. Mayor had the ball go through his hands. He'd still be running. If he makes that catch, I think Nebraska left at minimum 21 points on the field, and don't even think about that awful field goal try. I got a little upset when they come back from break, and shocking that NBC's cameras were actually found who they were looking for, but they had a shot of John Hull and Brian Buschini sitting on the bench when Nebraska got the ball. And I'm thinking, why are they not working with the long snapper and going through some mock field goal exercises to get
the
warm?
the long snapper's back in the locker room getting code redded.
I mean, seriously, they're on the bench, and I get that it's cold outside, but maybe that long snapper and Buschini ought to be going through the motions and letting Hull go through the motions so that they get it down in case they get a field goal attempt. Instead, they're sitting on the bench trying to get warm, and I'm like, that should not have been happening in that moment. But look, I thought Nebraska, that was one of the most impressive performances for the most part for about 59 and a half minutes. And, I'm with Hook C on the Shavers play. That happens in football. But the drops, the overthrows, that was rough to see that. I'll tell you, I was thinking if Nebraska had gone over there and lost, what was they were 5-point dogs or something like that. If Nebraska just got beat by Iowa, and you're going, okay, yeah, they were supposed to win. They're the better team, or at least a little bit better. But again, Nebraska's going to a bowl game, so there's been progress this season. The only possible way that they could ruin any of that is to perhaps having a turnover in the last 30 seconds and then get ball sack punched with a field goal from 53 yards that barely sneaks through and over the upright. So this is about as bad a finish as they could possibly have had in this game. And now you got to say, all right, you got to go out and win the bowl game if you want to recapture the feel-good vibes. You can't go to Nashville or wherever you end up and lay an egg because you're just happy to be there. Nebraska's got to go in as a motivated bowl team because the way they lost, the way they did not finish, this game should have been 31. I'll give them the touchdown, the Johnson touchdown. This game should have been 31 to maybe 3. Or shutout. They gave him a field goal because of the Shaver play.
I feel bad for Shavers because he was just trying to.
It wasn't. I called it boneheaded earlier. That's a little bit harsh.
No.
It's one of those plays where you see everyone diving at the football and you think this must
trying
be
to help out your bro.
I think your punt return team needs to do a better job making that Peter call saying nobody touched it. Stay away.
And if you're at the 10 or inside, get the hell away from it. You were in that danger. Guys, you were in that danger zone. You were in that danger zone where your momentum, you're off balance, it's drifting on you. Just get the hell away from it. And
more players are fielding the ball on punts and kicks inside the 10 than I have ever seen in my life.
No, the special teams situation has been brutal. It got less brutal because Hull made some kicks, and it wasn't as bad of a sore thumb, but it hasn't helped you win games, and it lost you one tonight. It's got to be addressed. It can't be tolerated. You tolerated minimal follow-through or consequences, lack of accountability on offense for most of the season until Dana Holgorsen came in. You need that same treatment towards special teams moving forward, period. And it's what killed you tonight. 1, 2, 3 missed tackles on a 2nd and 13. And Bill, to your point, the points left on the field.
Special teams is the easy answer here of, man, what lost Nebraska this game? But, I mean, how many missed tackles did Caleb Johnson have on that 72-yard touchdown?
3.
I mean, how many times did Nebraska fumble the football and fall on top of it, getting a little bit lucky? Like, there's so many different things you can look at and say, man, if Nebraska makes 1 or 2 more plays in this phase of the game, they win the football game. I don't think this locker room's going to be doing finger pointing after this one. There's blame to go around. What just hurts about it is it really feels like this was the type of game Nebraska needed to eliminate years and years of scar tissue. Every single one-score loss that you've had, there was a positive momentum to this football team since Dana Holgerson's came in and taken over the offense. You had good feelings coming into this one. Yeah, get your stop defensive and you give the ball back to your offense with a chance to go down and get a win. And that, I think, would have done a lot going into the offseason to say all that years of scar tissue, we're moving in a different direction now as a football team. That doesn't define us. And what happens? I mean, we'll say, especially against Iowa, but then what happens? Iowa does what Iowa does, and it's another one-score kick in the nuts loss for this Husker football team. And as Bill kind of said, this team needs a bowl win a month from now. That's exactly what they need to eliminate years of scar tissue, because the scar tissue is clearly holding this football team right now. As I said earlier, Iowa knew Nebraska was going to shoot themselves in the foot at some point in the second half. Nebraska did it multiple times, and Iowa goes out there and gets a win. You wonder if Iowa knew that play was coming, did the Nebraska sideline knew that boneheaded shoot yourself in the foot type play was coming? Because there needs to be something to shift and eliminate that scar tissue within the Husker football program. I think a win tonight could have started you down that path. Instead, it's another one-score loss. There's a lot of questions headed into the next month of bowl practices before you get your quote-unquote reward. Husker fans need that. The team needs that. But this could have been a massive step in the right direction.
489-1240, 489-1240 to get in with Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens. Bill Hooks is here. Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman is in. Elijah Herbal, Will Wilson, Chris Schmidt, Elijah and I here across from Kinnick in Iowa City at the Marriott. Eileen checks in. They beat themselves again. Cliff checks in. We're better than them. Self-inflicted wounds helped Iowa. Frost players have it in them to fail when it counts. Tuck checks in. Why are we not up 20? Mike says this game shouldn't be close. NU Grandpa, a very typical NU Nebraska. Check that. A very typical Iowa recipe. Wrestling oranges. Dang, oh, dang, oh, dang. More comments from you. Duck checks in. I don't understand. With 35 seconds left, you run the ball for no gain. Nebraska, Black Hills Brennan says, I'm over Ben Hart. Tough finish there for the sixth-year all-time starts leader. Captain might have said it best. Choked. Nebraska can't let this linger. As easy as that is to say out loud, it's got to dissipate. Steven says, yeah, this is as disgusting as it gets. Defense doesn't make a play. Special teams, terrible, and turnovers because, 54 got beat off the edge. You can't go turtle. You got to go try and win it. But Nebraska, fellas, had opportunities all season long in the 2-minute drill. Hooks, I don't think you go kneel and conservative to get to overtime. You try and go win it, don't you, in that moment? And that's what Matt Rhule was doing.
No, you have to, right? But, I was just thinking about this as you guys were talking. I'm like, I don't want to, let's just be brutally honest. Like, Matt Rhule is trying to change this culture, right? This is still a losing culture. We have not turned that page. So there aren't many surprises right now. And whoever made the comment about Frost players learn how to look, that's where we are still. We have not got over that hump. So I'm looking forward to maybe somehow how we turn that page on doing that, because these are the same guys that we're still working with that are going to go to their first bowl game. They haven't experienced how to do this yet. And they're making mistakes like that still, right? Like, am I off by saying that? Like, this is who we are still today with the same players who have been through a lot of this crap, these one-score losses, these bonehead mistakes, the losing culture part of this, trying not to lose instead of trying to win. We're trying to get these guys to learn how to win, but they're still learning. They're still trying not to lose instead of going to win.
489-1240, 489-1240. Jack checks in and says, total failure again. Kevin says, I knew Nebraska would crumble. And Ryan is on the line. Thank you, Will, for getting that corralled. Ryan, welcome into Real Red Reaction. Thanks for calling 489-1240. Go for it.
Thanks, guys. First of all, I know that obviously nothing that I say, that anybody says, can change what just happened. So I will try to keep it contained here. But there are just a lot of you guys are hitting the nail on the head. Hooksy just said it just a couple seconds ago. This is still a losing culture. Bill Dolman just nailed it on the head. Schmitty, I know you just said that this is our style of football, but the bottom line is Nebraska should have won that game, and it's not close. Nope. And the thing that drives me nuts is throughout the season, I have seen this, and I wish I wasn't, but Nebraska is deciding to throw the football on 2nd down and 1. Like, who does that? I mean, if you see something, if you're on offense and you see something defensively, all right, yeah, sure, go for it, do it. If you know that this pass play on 2nd and 1 is going to work, fine. But there is just no reason that Nebraska should be throwing the football on 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2. It's, again, just throw that under the list of things that just went in a direction that it should not have, because Iowa was terrible tonight. There's no question about it. Ferentz can say all he wants, blah, blah, blah. There should not have been a game-winning field goal for Iowa in this game. Nebraska probably should have won 20-7 at minimum. It was just, it's just infuriating. And again, for the second year in a row, a turnover on the final drive in your own territory to set up another Iowa win. Just, I don't have words at this point, because it's just, it's pathetic. It's just pathetic. And it's disheartening too, because on top of everything, it's Iowa. Just horrible.
Ryan, I mean, it is beyond belief, but yet it is believable because it's Iowa, Nebraska, and how this villain, i.e. torturer, this entity, we're beyond Halloween, but that's what it is, man. In this series, in this rivalry, how they find a way to survive, and then they end up killing you in the end. And that's what they do with the special teams.
About that or not? I don't know if we can give props to Kirk Ferentz about that or not, because again, it's Kirk Ferentz, for goodness sake. But at the end of the day, it's still turning into an Iowa win. It's like, what, the 10th win for Iowa since Nebraska joined the Big Ten or something? It's just, it's horrible. It's just horrible.
It's absolutely sickening for Nebraska fans. And what you can't do is have this group of young players. They've got to take what just happened and move on from it, use it as fuel. They can't let it linger with here we go again. That can't be passed on, of all the good things and the good habits and the work ethic and the culture and all those things that these 5th and 6th year guys have done to pour the concrete. They can't pass along that gene of folding and failing in crunch time. That's where Rhule's got to get him over the hump. We'll hear from Matt Rhule. Ryan, we'll say thanks for the phone call. Appreciate you sounded off. 489-1240. 489-1240. Real Red Reaction. And we're supposed to be able to digest, analyze, and translate all of this, but I mean, there's a lot of bad losses. Like, think about Virginia Tech, how you had it and then you didn't. In 2009, the Texas Big 12 championship game, where you played your butt off and you almost took them down. But this is just, all right, you slayed one dragon and got bowl eligible, but you still got work to do. Gray Woman 79, same old story, just pathetic. And you've got some looking in the mirror to do for guys to go make plays. Sitting across from us, the Snitley boys.
Oh boy,
checking in. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
We can rest our heads tonight. Foley won't be coaching special teams going forward. If he is, we bring in some pitchforks out. It's easy to target Easy Ed, likable, lovable. From a performance standpoint, his unit, though, problematic. Now, the kicking got better, but you still have long snapping problems. Bill, to your point, bud, what are you doing to get ready for your moment? Punting was horrific in some tough conditions tonight. Return game bad. It cost you tonight, and then some. And that's how Iowa just keeps on Iowa-ing, right? Defense, special teams, get a couple of turnovers, bang, 13-10. Welcome to the nightmare. The water is warm.
Man, that long run, too, by I can't even remember Iowa's running back. He really did nothing all game. We missed a few tackles, and he was gone. That's obviously you lost on the field goal, but that run right there lost us the game, obviously.
Well, you have more comments. Graham, check it in. Is the belief to be a good team just not there? That's a fair question, Graham. Thanks for checking in. Guys, they've got to have it in their head, don't they? That if they're not up at a certain point in the game by a certain score, that it is straight up pucker time, Bill Dolman. I mean, that's something that's real, and I hope if you're a Nebraska fan, it doesn't get passed on to this next wave, because they've lived it too. They've got to fix it and change it. They've got to physically do something about it.
Meaning get rid of the players that are around for the losing culture?
No, I'm saying just when it's your turn and your time, figure out a way to go fix it and make plays. That's what I mean.
Well, the people who weren't making plays necessarily tonight are the ones that I outlined earlier. Nayor should have come down with the catch. Dylan should have dumped it off to Emmett Johnson. He overthrew Jalen Lloyd. I mean, those are your headline guys, your frontline guys, and the ones that are supposed to be making the plays. And there were, it wasn't backups necessarily. If you're going to cast blame on the fumble, that was Benhart, the right tackle, who let his guy get around him to get to Rhule, who fumbled the football. So the ones who left points on the field or left the ball on the field are the ones you're relying upon to be your playmakers. And while they did make a lot of plays tonight, is evidenced by what the stats look like and the fact that Nebraska just flat out looked better than Iowa for 59 minutes and 40 seconds. You either got to have accountability and allow your backups to go out and prove that they can make plays. If the guys who are supposed to make them aren't, next man up. That was Thomas Fidoni's penalty last week. He had one false start, and you didn't see him again. Well, it can't come down to, well, you got a false start penalty. There's a reason why why they're going to make changes. If you're not bringing down passes that hit your hands, that's probably an indication that maybe Jalen Lloyd should be in there a little bit more, or maybe somebody else should be throwing some passes for a while. That's where the accountability's got to be, and it doesn't have to be the fact that you fumbled the ball or you had a penalty. If you're not executing the plays on a consistent basis, maybe somebody else should be given that opportunity.
Yeah, I moving forward, I hope you see more Jalen Lloyd. I hope Borkature could have another year. I know he walked last week, but I like what he can do. We'll see what the next wave of the offensive line can look like, because you're going to have a changing of the guard at right tackle and at right guard and at center. I like I know he had a penalty tonight, but I like what Gatula has done along with Evans at that left side. I really like the make you miss that Emmett Johnson brings, and Dowdell settled down. He was nice in the second half. And really, you've got a guy that's really talented in Dylan Raiola with his arm, but you just can't have some of the lulls, Will Wilson, that you've had at quarterback, and you can't regress next year. You can have. You're not always going to be perfect. You're going to miss some throws. You're going to be in some different environments, but you need to be markedly better next year, or at least in the bowl game moving forward at quarterback. It's got to be a difference maker for you.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm seeing a lot of people say, this was a third game. He's lost us. He lost us this game. I mean, do you guys agree? Is he the one guy we're looking at here? Because I don't think he is. I mean, yeah, he fumbled at the end, but was that all on him? Yeah, he could hang on to the ball, but he got blindsided. Your right guard or tackle didn't block.
The ball hooks, he could have been out quicker, but from a coverage standpoint, maybe someone was covered. But there were moments in the game hooks where the throws that needed to be made quicker weren't, and then there were the great throws the guys missed and dropped.
Yeah, listen, I thought you see it like you've seen Dylan freshman come out, right? That's a typical freshman. Like you get the Patrick Mahomes stuff, and then you get the true freshman stuff, and that's what we lived through this year. But I want to see what it looks like if it's Dana. Let's say Dana's the guy. What's that going to look like for a full year for a guy like that? Again, you got to remember, this guy was, 8 games or 9 games without this guy. You had Satterfield for whatever games. I need to see that. I want to see what that looks like for a guy that's started, his first few games looked electric. Then he had that huge lull when he looked terrible. Give me a guy that's got a consistent, good OC for a while. I want to see that. I want to see the change of the offensive line. I want to see the change of the culture, but more of that, like just seeing it, like again, if it's Dana, give me Dana for the full year and see what it looks like.
Yeah, and to kind of put a bow on this, in a game such as this, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, you can't put the blame on one guy, even one side of the ball. No. I mean, there's so much blame to go around in a game like this because as we've laid out, I mean, you statistically beat Iowa down tonight and lost the football game. It's not because of one play in the fourth quarter where Dylan Raiola fumbles. It's not because of a special teams gap inside your own 5. It's not because Raiola overthrew Jalen Lloyd by 3 yards in the first quarter. I mean, there's so many plays you can look at and say, if Nebraska does this, they win the football game. That's why it's not on one guy. Football is not played by one guy. I know the quarterback's the most important position on the field, but there's so much blame to go around tonight for why Nebraska lost this football game that you had to tip your cap to Iowa. I mean, Iowa is the one that generated 2 takeaways in this football game. Your defense didn't. Like, there's so many things that you could do to go win a football game. It's not on Dylan. It's not on the offensive line. It's not on any one person in particular.
It's just shared
you as a team,
bleep show.
Yeah, it's a shared bleep show, and you as a team need to find a way to work through a decade of scar tissue in games such as these, because that's what I'm looking at right now.
Here's what they need to do. 489-1240.
Start drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's beautiful, Bill. That's beautiful.
We'll take your calls, 489-1240, or tune into the Average Joe Sports Show Sunday morning at 10:30-ish. All right. Here's what they need to do. And, yep, I'm going back in time. Just like Nebraska did after, the 93 Orange Bowl, putting, was it 16-15 and the time left on the clock, or was it 18-16 the final score? I think it was the final.
It was 18. It was the final score.
Okay, they put it up on the scoreboard for the entire summer at Memorial Stadium. So off-season workouts, summer workouts, when that team was on the field in 100-plus degree heat, they look up at the scoreboard for that entire time as they're preparing for the 94 campaign and are reminded of the final score of the Orange Bowl game in which they should have beaten Florida State. They got screwed on a couple of calls. The field goal try is no good, and Nebraska loses. That score was put up on the board to remind that team of how close they were and how much it hurt. They need to run a loop of all of these field goals at the end of games, just like NBC did prior to the kick that they won again today. They need to put on a loop on all of those monitors throughout throughout Club Husker and put it up on the scoreboard, even on graduation or whatever. 13-10, field goal made, field goal made, field goal made, whatever. And if it doesn't bother you, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Maybe you're not worthy of the 105. But if you watch that and go, boy, that was that was something. But I got a PlayStation, and I got to be in sleep pods, and I got massage pools. I got to play in Club Husker. Yeah, that was okay. But if you're one of the 105 that pisses off, that you see it every single day, and you take it out on every opponent from the beginning of the season in August all the way through until Black Friday, if you're not pissed off and moved by that, then maybe you shouldn't be here. But I put that up there as a reminder every day, because that's a ball sack punch that ought to hurt everybody in red.
Where's Thanksgiving at?
Yep. I agree. Well said, Bill.
Streaming here on KFOR, listening here on FM 1015, 1240 AM, YouTube, Hail Varsity YouTube, Real Red Reaction YouTube, KFOR Facebook, Hail Varsity Radio Facebook, Hail Varsity Twitter, KFOR Facebook. More of your comments in the stream, more of your phone calls coming up. And we'll hear from Matt Rhule, who may... There's a picture of... I better not go there. Elijah took a picture of me with my vest on earlier today as I was going to go work out. It had... some sort of negative insinuation, but Rhule may be losing it in the locker room right now. Just flat out losing it, and Nebraska fans right now are ordering more beers. We'll take a timeout. Be back. We'll hear from Matt Rhule. We'll hear from you. It's Bill Hooks. It's Will Wilson. It's Elijah Herbal. It's Bill Dolman. It's Chris Schmidt. It's Real Red Reaction continuing here on KFOR, KFORnow.com.
During the holiday season, the People's City Mission will provide housing, food, clothing, and Christmas presents to most of Lincoln's homeless. You can help give the gift of joy. Go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, kindness really can change the world.
Listen Saturday mornings to Start Moving with Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NHS Real Estate. He'll have all the hints to guide you through the process of buying or selling a home smoothly. Start Moving every Saturday morning at 9:30 right here on KFOR.
So, how's motherhood going for my big sis? Great. I've been using my members' own credit card to earn points to have diapers delivered from Amazon. You can use your members' own credit card points on Amazon? Oh, yeah. It's a total life hack. Could you use your rewards for plane tickets so a cool aunt could visit more? Only if she brings extra coffee. Get a credit card with lower rates, big rewards, and the best financial friend who always has your back. Learn more at memberszonecu.org/BFF card. Limitations apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated, and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit more2adhd.com for additional information. That's more2adhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Mom, Dad,
Before you throw out those unused medicines, just think for a minute.
Grandma, Grandpa, all you guys take meds. That's why you gotta dispose of your old pills correctly.
Those pills for your back pain or migraines.
When you throw them in the trash, those medicines can become lethal in the wrong hands. Our hands. You may be finished with that medicine,
But those pills are making me real popular at school.
my brother James could think they're candy. Our dog
It
loves
was
to
a
get in
double
the
play ball. That's what it was.
meds can make him sick or worse. So stop. There are better ways to dispose of your unused meds.
There are lots of police stations, local pharmacies, and hospitals that are approved to take in unused meds and dispose of them safely. Disposal sites are close by.
It's easy, and it's the right thing to do. For us. The ones you love.
To find a medicine disposal site near you, visit www.safe.pharmacy. A public service message from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts. For help quitting, call the Nebraska.
This is the Real Red Reaction Show. Phones are open now. 402-489-1240.
Back here in Iowa City, Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal. It's Real Red Reaction on KFOR, KFORnow.com. Streaming as we are powered by Slim Chickens. You've seen a lot of tough ones over the years. You've seen a lot of tough ones against Nebraska and Iowa. I would advise you to get in your car and hit the drive-thru right now. Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th and Old Cheney. I don't know that it'll make you feel better about the game, but damn, that chicken's good. Okay, how's that for the tag, Bill Hooks? Just really, really rough. What are you saying, Will?
He was muted. Go ahead, Bill.
Oh God, Smith, that was so good, dude. I'm gonna hire you. Like, if you need something to do, like some voiceovers, I got you.
You mean
okay?
so I don't have to watch Nebraska football via Iowa?
Oh, again, look, I was wearing a Nebraska hat. Now look at this hat. I'm like, well, you know what? This will make me feel better.
Hey, I don't want Elijah. I don't want Elijah going on another road game ever again.
Not his fault.
He's over. Are you over 3 on the season?
I'm 0 for 10 all time.
What?
I've never seen a road victory. All time. Never seen a road victory.
So I just had this conversation when I was at our friend's house who we travel with. We've been on 20 road trips now. We are now, not this one, but USC, we're now 10-10. Over 20 times, 10-10. We started 8-2.
I tried to get Bill Dolman, who is the hex breaker, to come with, but duty called, and he's like, I'm looking at Junior right now, and he's rocking back and forth in the chair, trying to thaw out.
The trauma.
Yeah, the trauma was from the conditions more so than the game.
Well, let's be clear. There is no hex on Nebraska football.
No, they just got to be
They
better.
are just not a great football team.
It's a losing
culture. There it is. They consistently screw
Sorry.
up in close football games because the culture is not the culture as much as I hate to say it, it's not the culture of a school like Iowa or a school like insert team here that has beaten Nebraska over the past 6 years in a close football
finds
game.
a way.
It is not a hex. It comes down to culture and it comes down to talent. Right now, Nebraska does not have enough of either in abundance.
They have enough talent, but the talent's not making the plays.
So maybe the talent's not good enough. It's as simple as that.
Fair enough.
Big talent makes big-time plays in big-time moments, and Nebraska doesn't have players who make big-time plays in big-time moments.
I mean, you go back and you were talking about the special teams tonight, right? Like, yeah, the whole punt thing and Shavers. I don't blame Shavers at all. I blame Castaneda for going to the bunker like there was a grenade coming. Get out of the damn way. You can't catch that ball. Get out of the way. Let it bounce. Like, that's a bad moment. The fact that also,
or put 2 guys back to return it, for the love of God.
Exactly. Put these guys in plus situations. We have not put our guys in situations in plus situations. He ducked down. Shavers thought he hit him. That's not his fault. It's just bad football. That is bad football. Foley, you know what? Sorry. That's bad. That's a problem. Even late in that game, when the Iowa punter outkicked the coverage, return the punt. Give yourself a chance. I don't understand why when the opponents punt, there's 5 or 6 guys hovering over our guy, and when we punt, there's returns galore. It's a bad product that has got to turn the page at some point to produce winning football plays.
489-1240 to get in. We have another 20 minutes?
About 30. Or no, 40.
49-12-40. Yeah, we'll hear from Matt Rhule. Let's go to Coach Rhule right now. His post game and comments. Nebraska losing at the buzzer again, 13-10.
Three things: make sure we keep tackling number two, win the turnover battle, and don't give up a big play on special teams, because we had some close ones in the first half. All three happened, caused us to lose the game. So, disappointed, kind of probably more than disappointed right now, kind of angry about what just happened. Credit to them. Those guys, they've won a long time. They believe they make the plays all the way to the very end. And we got to catch them. We got to catch them. And we haven't caught them yet. So in terms of finding a way to finish games. So I feel for our seniors. I know how badly they want to get this done. We didn't get it done. So with that, I'll take your questions.
The impact of special teams, could you elaborate on that? The impact of the loss?
Yeah, the first punt return, they had a big punt return. I think we slowed down because we thought he had made a fair catch signal. But made a nice return. But obviously, the fumble down at the 3-yard line. Unfortunate. The bad snap on the field goal. We kicked field goals pretty early, pretty well. Right. And then the bad snap on the field goal. So those two plays hurt us.
Did you feel on offense you had those opportunities, they just slipped away?
Yeah, we moved the ball right down the field at the start of the first half, and come away with no points. 2nd and 1. We call the over route. I catch that ball and go score. I mean, it's going to be a touchdown. So, there were some opportunities there. Versus a good defense to make the plays to win the game. And even that, that last drive, we drove it all the way down. We had chances, didn't convert. They started playing some 2-man on us, just manning everyone up. Trying to force Dylan to run, and he made one nice run, and punted the ball down. Got the ball back, did everything you're supposed to do, and got the ball knocked out of our hands. We struggled versus their edge rushers today, pretty much from the first quarter to that last quarter. They. The two edge rushers, really was a matchup we struggled with today.
Is there something that you feel like you guys got to keep working on as it relates to 2-minute drills and the game situation?
No, we just got to get better. Honestly, at the end of the day, like they won the one-on-one matchup. Like they turned the corner and beat us. We just got to get better. It's 5 minutes left, whatever it was. Dana called 2nd and 1. I'm used to call running the ball there. He calls a play action pass. We drop it. We just gotta get better. I'm not. It's not like we're not doing the right things. We had some opportunities even in that 2-minute drill. But when you get into those situations, really who wins, the offensive line or the defensive line, that determines the game, right? And so for us, our defensive line, they had the ball in the 2-minute drill. Our defensive line won, but the difference was they caused a sack fumble, right? And so we put the ball on the ground 3 times in the fourth quarter. Emmett put 1 down. We got on it. Dylan put 2 down. So, we've got to just get better and be able to just stone those guys, right, and make the play to win the game. And we didn't do that.
How do you going into that 2-minute drill, 1:42 left or at the 20? What's the balance there that you go into that drive with, as far as managing the need to win, but also not to make a mistake that releases you?
Yeah, I don't know that you can ever win by saying, "Hey, I don't want to make a mistake," right? I think the one thing you can do is say, "Hey, we're not going to go 3 out in 12 seconds," right? So you're trying to get a completion, get the first down. But at the end of the day, if they're going to turn the corner, bend, sack, fumble, it doesn't matter what you do, right? So we were calling some chips and some things in those situations, but yeah, at the end of the day, we got to go try to win, we got to go push the ball down there. So again, the whole thought process was get the first down, but even if we didn't, even if we had to punt, we're going to punt the ball back to their side of the field. I mean, at the end of the day, they had one explosive play probably the whole day in the passing game, and that was a screen. Three guys bounced off him. So, he's an excellent player, but I thought we shut him down for most of the day. So, just unfortunate, turn of events.
I know it's frustrating, but speak to the defensive game plan. It really did take him away from all but one play of the game. What did you guys do, and how did you like your guys generally played?
Well, I thought the defense played excellent until really that one play. Even the ball's turned over on the 3-yard line. They played their tails off. They had a 10-0 lead. But at the end of the day, we had to do what they did. They shut us out in the second half, and that's what we had to do. We had to make that tackle. And so sometimes, in today's world, we live in a world where it's like, well, we did all this, but so it's this team's fault. But like, you have a 10-0 lead with our defense, you got to put the game away. Like, you're hoping you score some more points on offense, but you got to put the game away, and you can't miss those tackles and have him take off for a touchdown. So, with all that being said, they did get the ball back and gave us a chance to go score, but. Literally, at halftime, we said to them, keep tackling number 2. He's what they have. No special teams errors are going to result in, penalty. So there were some other balls early in the game that were close. We're down some guys at corner, so we had some young guys out there at times, and unfortunately that play happened. So yeah, it's the defense played really well for most of the game.
The punt play, it was kind of wonky because it didn't hit ITC balance. Is anybody doing the wrong thing there, really, or was it just kind of bad luck?
I don't really believe in bad luck. So, if you're those guys and you think, you have to go back and see if IGC yelled poison, those guys should run off the field. If they run off the field, nothing happens. If they do think it hit him, then they obviously should go fight for the ball, right? So, just kind of a tough play, a tough break. At the end of the day, we don't want to run up to the ball and then jump away at the last second. Either we're poisoned or we're getting away from the ball, and kind of, they're a really good punting team, but the way the punting was going today, that's why we put IGC in there, because, we were having to run forward. Jacory caught the first one going to the ground. So it was going to be like a pooch punt, fair catch game. So we put IGC in there for that reason. And, he wants to communicate very early. Either I'm going to get to that ball and catch it, fair catch it, or I'm going to get away from it. And part of my job of getting away from it is making sure everyone else gets away from it. So if anything, that last second jumping away from the ball, I don't know, those guys, I don't know that they know what's happening. So, and then, obviously if they touched it, then we were good. If we touched it, we were good. And obviously we lost the replay. So
what you guys were doing well in the first half, even as like the field position was working in their favor for most of the half, that allowed you to avoid some of those things that did ultimately go wrong in the second half?
In terms of, off it?
The special team stuff, and you had the turnover obviously at the end. Like, it seemed like the poise was really good in the first half to avoid that stuff.
Yeah, I thought we had a good run pass mix in the first half. We had good balance. They went 3 and out a bunch of times. We had our opportunities. It's just Dana calls a play and a guy amazes this or makes a mistake there, and we're just close, but we're not making exactly the play. I thought the first drive coming out of the half was real progress for us, and we make that field goal. It's a little bit different of a game, right? So, but I thought we were just kind of in rhythm a little bit more. We found some good runs in the second half. Didn't run the ball quite as well, and we lost a possession there, right? So we went down, drove to score it, punted the ball back to us. We lost that possession. They scored again. What a great job by the defense to hold them 3 and out, and then just kind of was never quite the same. Made a couple plays here and there. But again, we had our opportunities. I'm saying, like, 2nd and 1, we throw that over out. We got to catch that ball and go score. And we had the post early in the game. We got behind them, so we have to make those plays. So that's what it is.
How do you get your guys to flush this quickly? Obviously, you're moving into a portion of the season that they're not accustomed to. But any of them who have spent their careers in Nebraska?
It's different because normally you have a game next week, so it's easier to just, hey, let's, I can't imagine being some of those seniors, and this just happening again against Iowa, right? Like last year, the way it ended. Especially, to kind of to Sam's point, when you play the way you played, like some of the defensive kids to play the way they played and have to watch the other team storm the field, that's frustrating. Some of the young players might be discouraged. I don't, oh, that's frustrating. It just is, it's just where we're at. And you know what I mean? As dumb as that sounds, we have to get better. And so, today's world, kids move around. The freshmen and sophomores that were out there tonight that'll be with us in 2 years, hopefully they'll remember all that stuff. I feel very, very, very good. There's been lots of times you guys have come in here and I say we have to coach better, we have to do this better. Everything was said to them and told to them. And so it's just a matter of doing it. And we have to just continue to get better until we do it. And so, Mitch, it should probably bother people for a little bit, right? It should probably bother some of those young players for a little bit. Because what I don't want us to do is play, going back to your earlier question, I don't want us to go out there and play not to lose because, afraid to lose is afraid to win. We've got to play to win. We got to be aggressive. And, so I think this will be one of those games that hopefully, propels us into the future. This is why we said chasing 3, but they caught the 3 tonight and we didn't. And that's a shame, because for most of the game, you go back and look at this game over the last couple of years, we looked like the better team for times in the game. They're an excellent team. I'm not disrespecting them. I'm saying we look like we played really good football. And we've got to just get better. I'm happy to answer anything. You deserve to answer whatever you want.
Anything else for Coach? I don't know if it was the wrong call, but did they give you an explanation on the botched kick return they sort of had where the guy kind of went in the end zone? Did they think about repeating that, or was that?
They said he touched it, but they said, if he bounces off and goes in the end zone, it can still be downed in there. So it wasn't like he propelled it into the end zone. So they gave us that one. I mean, that they said that was the right call. So there were a lot of things tonight that they said to me, like, hey, review, because it's a Friday, Saturday night game. Hey, instant replay looked at this, and this was this, right? This was that. So, like the first fair catch signal, they said, instant replay said it was good. So they communicated well tonight. Appreciate the officials.
All good.
Thank you. Thanks for all year. I'll see you guys hopefully at bowl practice.
That was Matt Rhule as we're here on Real Red Reaction. Things are winding down here in Iowa City. They're tearing down. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal. We're here just across from Kinnick. Another just heart-wrenching loss for Nebraska fans to Iowa. Rhule was on point with, they got to get better. And that's, you look at this team and, okay, you see some moments throughout the season as I reflect for a second where, all right, when it's kind of clicking, they look like that team you thought, all right, maybe could touch the ceiling. You saw half of it against Colorado. You've seen moments. There is talent, but then it boils down to playmaking. It boils down to needing to be better. And Rhule's right on. Like, as well as Nebraska's defense played, and Iowa's defense played really well tonight too, they get a strip sack to put him in position for a field goal. And it's 3 fourth quarter fumbles. It's afraid to screw up in the moment. There's a lot of that going on with this football team. And it's taking control and then putting somebody away. The game does come down to 2, 3, 4 plays, right? You can look back at a football game and say it's going to come down to just a handful of plays, and you got to end up being the team that makes them or prevents them from happening. And time again, it's Nebraska that muff punt. You miss the overthrows. There's a couple of fumbles that lead to 6 points. And away you go. It's 13-10, and Iowa's right now at 8-4. And my Uncle Mark sent a question into the email. Would you rather be Nebraska, more talented with a higher upside, who can't ever figure it the bleep out, or boring Iowa with no creativity. But guess what? They're staring at 8, maybe 9, depending on where they land and who they get down in Florida.
Well, it's a little thing here, but why is Iowa, despite an anemic offense in the year with their 4th-string quarterback, why do
You
they
just got
have
beat by a 4th-string quarterback who completed how many passes today?
I don't even know what was the total
He was
yardage.
2 for
passing
7
was.
to start.
115 passing yards, 72 yards of which came on one single play. Why did they go win that football game? It's a little thing. This is from Ethan Petrick. He covers Iowa football here in Eastern Iowa. I had tweeted out about 45 minutes ago that Iowa was punching at the football all second half, knowing the conditions, knowing that they needed a fumble to go win the football game. According to Ethan Herkett, defensive lineman for the Hawkeyes, that wasn't just a second half thing. That was one of their points of emphasis coming into this game, was knowing the weather. They were going to try to punch the football out. It's hard to hold on to. Hands get cold. Did you see that from Nebraska tonight, knowing the conditions? I know Caleb Johnson.
I saw it once.
I know Caleb Johnson's a great running back, and he tends to be hitting his 5 points of contact at any given time to make sure he's not fumbling the football. But you didn't see that kind of point of emphasis, and you turn it around, compare it to Nebraska. Part of it's a ball security issue. Part of it is Iowa's defense knowing the conditions and being well coached. I think I saw the ball on the turf 4 or 5 different times tonight, and Iowa gets the 2 takeaways, and that's the difference in this football game. Like, it's little things, but that's why Iowa goes and wins a football game like this. That's why they are able to go win 8 games every single season. It's being well coached. It's guys who want it, and it's guys that have a great team culture. They know how to win football games. They know their culture, and they live it.
Dave's with us here on Real Red Reaction, 489-1240 to get in. Dave, thanks for hanging on.
You bet. Everyone wants to throw Benhart under the bus, but don't you climb the pocket with 2 hands on the ball? I mean, Dylan's got to be on some kind of a, watch here too. Like 2 hands on the ball. Where's the quarterback coach in this situation? 20 seconds left and you ain't holding on with the ball with 2 hands? Let's go.
Not wrong. You got to be kind of cognizant. There's got to be that internal clock, right? You also need the play to develop, right? And I want to look back at that strip sack downfield. What was he looking at? And yeah, I mean, Benhart is a pinata. Absolutely, he is for the fan base. But you just need to have better quarterback play. Matt Rhule said it, and I'm trying to just spit it out here. You just got to be better. And this team is what they are. They're 6-6. They got sky high and had juice and home field momentum against Colorado for a half. Found a way to put Wisconsin out because they're completely disastrous. And you rolled them. You didn't let it get to like tonight against Wisconsin. You finished it, you seized it, but they got to get a killer instinct. But part of that is the confidence to go take somebody out. And right now they aren't that football program, and we'll see if the next wave can make it happen. 489-1240. Quick timeout. We may have to relocate Bill and Will because this thing's getting shut down.
Oh, that would be a confusing radio show. It's 3 rhyming it. Bill and Will taking you late into the night.
So we're gonna probably relocate, take a timeout, and we'll be back with you here shortly. Okay.
Just go outside.
Yeah. We are on the top floor. I mean, it is rooftop. You want to see if my wings work? Is that what you're insinuating?
And Hooksy, are you also out of here shortly?
No, I'm good. Okay,
I didn't.
By the way,
you were giving us some sign language, and I was confused.
Listen, I'm currently.
He's asking for another drink.
listen. I'm currently watching the 7th overtime of Georgia Tech right now. Georgia Tech has a 2-point conversion to win this right now.
Pass interference on the defense here, so Georgia Tech gets half the distance.
Yes.
1. Okay,
yes.
We'll get the final score hopefully after a timeout, but we need to get one more timeout in here before the end of the show.
Go.
Quick break. Back with more. Real Red Reaction, KFOR, KFORnow.com, and we'll be back here shortly here as Nebraska gets kicked again.
Beckon you to enjoy the independence, comfort, and peace of mind they offer in their own special way at all of their locations. Connect with others. Enjoy fabulous
This
food.
is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
Arnie's Pet Food Store not only offers the highest quality all-natural pet foods on the market, a wide variety of treats, chews, toys, and pet care products, but they're also fully stocked with winter gear for your canine companions. From winter coats and parkas to boots that protect their paws and pet-friendly non-toxic ice melt. Let Arnie's help keep your pets safe and warm this upcoming winter. Arnie's Pet Food Store in the Alamo Plaza, 56 and Highway 2. Online at shop.arniespetfoods.com. That's shop.arniespetfoods.com.
Hi, this is Kathy Blythe. For more than 70 years, KFOR's Operation Santa Claus program has been providing personalized gifts for Lincoln's less fortunate children. And we're able to do that each year because of the generosity of the KFOR listeners. There are no administrative costs. If you'd like to help out, you can send check or money order to KFOR or donate online at KFORnow.com. On behalf of the kids who will have a merrier Christmas because of you, a heartfelt thank you from all of us at KFOR.
When a loved one passes away, it's important to take time to mark the transition of life. I'm Dean Schneider, funeral director and co-owner at Roper & Sons. Whether you choose to have a funeral, memorial service, or celebration of life, we understand that the gathering of family and friends is important. A service commemorating the life of a loved one brings together those grieving so that they can celebrate a life well lived. Roper & Sons, we're here to help you honor your loved one in whatever way you choose.
Make a difference by helping out less fortunate kids in the Lincoln area this holiday season with KFOR's Operation Santa Claus. I'm Jeff Moats from the KFOR Newsroom. Since 1948, KFOR's Operation Santa Claus has helped provide a gift for a child to brighten his or her spirit during the holiday season. You can help by sending your donation to KFOR's Operation Santa Claus, 3800 Cornhusker Highway here in Lincoln. The zip code is 68504. You can also donate through our website, KFORnow.com.
It's finally here. Stop into Menards for amazing Black Friday deals. Dog toy 3-packs are $11.99 each. 42-ounce Ultimate Snack Tins are just $9.99 each. Plus, save $40 on a wine opener gift set, now just $19.99. Ah, there's so many great Black Friday deals I can't list them all. You'll have to hurry to Menards while supplies last to get these and many more Black Friday deals. Sale good Black Friday through December 1st. See Menards.com for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas. During the holidays, People City Mission will provide food, shelter, and warm clothing to many of the homeless here in our city. Most importantly, we will try to give them some joy and a sense of hope in the future. I'm asking you to join me in this effort. Would you make room in your heart this season for someone with nowhere to stay? Just go to PCMLincoln.org and find out how you can become a blessing. Thanks, and God bless you.
This is Jim Keck, minister of First Plymouth Church, inviting you to join us for a broadcast of our worship service every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on KFOR.
During the holiday season, the People's City Mission will
Time to sound off, Husker Nation. This is your Real Red Reaction Show on Lincoln's KFOR. Call the show now at 402-489-1240.
Back here in Iowa City, Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbal, Bill Dolman with us, Bill Hooks with us, Will Wilson. Catch those guys on the morning hookup, 10 a.m. on KFOR, weekdays, Monday through Friday. Of course, Hail Varsity with Elijah and I back tomorrow morning on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. That gets going around 7:45 tomorrow morning. Bill Dolman, the man with the Average Joe Sports Show, that Sunday pod live will be at 10:30. Georgia winning in overtime, surviving.
8.
44-42 in overtime number 8.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's wild.
Rich with us here on Real Red Reaction.
Can I just quickly say there's no chance Nebraska would ever make it to an 8th overtime because they screwed up before that. Wow. Never. So appreciate that game while you can, because Husker fans, you won't see it anytime soon.
489-1240. Rich, thanks for hanging tight with us. Welcome to Real Red Reaction. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, how you guys doing? Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yeah, Rich, we got you, brother.
Trying to exhale. Basically, I'm going to say it's my fault. Reason I'm going to say it's my... No, listen to me. There's a reason I'm saying this. It's my fault because I haven't showed up early enough. I didn't push hard enough. And I didn't talk to enough of the right people. When I say I didn't talk to enough of the right people, when Governor Pete Rickett was here, I wore his ear out telling him I needed to talk to the president of the college. When the president of the college, I don't remember his name, but he's a Navy man. My background is Marine Corps. I'm old Corps, mean Corps. I'm the guy that calls the code red. Nebraska is a beautiful team, but you're too damn nice. You got to get mean. Killer mean. Now, I ain't talking about playing dirty, but I'm talking about hard hitting, and you got to be able to change gears. When you running, you got to be able to go from first, second, and third, and then just keep on, and you got to do that tackle, man. How you got three guys that he got around, just too many things. And when you got the mistakes, and mistakes are going to be made, but you're going to have to focus on the mistake and practice minimum 8,000 times on the damn mistake until you get it together.
Rich, I gotta jump in. Have you ever ordered a code red?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Did it involve bars of soap and tube socks?
I'm Sandfly Marine from Paris Island back in '74 when they said they were painting us, but they were trying to kill us. I'm not the Gomer Pyle Marine. We call them the Hollywood Marines, the nice guys. I'm the mean guy. You can check my SRB, my service record book, as to what's what. When I switched over from the Navy switched over from the Marine Corps to the Navy on submarine duty, though the captain was the captain, but it was my boat. And I'll tell you the boat. That was the U.S. city, the Corpus Christi, which President Reagan named the city of Corpus Christi. But as I said, it's my fault. The reason you ain't been winning, if they will allow me to get my hands on that team and will not prosecute me for having people dying on the field and you have the jumper cables so that, because the training is going to be brutal and they are going to build up that they're going to be moving so fast, they're going to make Bruce Lee look like a joke. Okay. Because they could have won this game tonight. I'm so upset, I'm chewing on my cigar. I'm damn, man. I love Nebraska. I've been around the world twice, and Nebraska has been the place that's done the most for me. I love Nebraska, and I'm a die-hard Cornhusker. I'm like, damn, they could have won this game. Man.
Rich, you have put it.
Oh, man.
Somebody clip this. This is great. Rich,
Yeah,
thank you.
This is good stuff. Rich, thank you, brother.
They need me there. They need me. They ain't got to pay me. All I want to do is get my hands on that team. I don't want no recognition. I don't want no acknowledgement. I don't want no pay. Let me get my hands on that team, and they're going to win. You hear me? They're going to win because we're going to focus on the mistakes. Coach Rule's a nice guy. The people they got there, they're too nice. I'm mean. I'm nasty. We going to win.
Rich, enjoy your night. Deep
Thank you,
breath,
Tracy
brother.
Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you for your service as well, Rich. Appreciate you, man.
Wow.
489-1240. That was
the best call of Real Red Reaction history.
He had me in the first half. I didn't know where he was going with that. No, yeah.
Then he was. Let me get my hands on this team.
Well, what's he saying about jumper cables?
Yeah.
No, but he said he's traveled around because of the war, and he said Nebraska's done the most damage to him.
My Lord. That's horrible.
That's insane.
I don't know where we go from there. I really don't. I've been doing some brutal reaction shows in my time. I don't know where we go from that call.
Oh, we need a call from like Jim Rashke now. Omaha South product who went on to become Baron von Raschke. That's what we need, the Claw Master now to come out.
Oh, the claw's been used every end of November. 8 out of the last 9 meetings, Bill, and Iowa's been the claw.
Yeah, but what was his name? Rich?
Rich.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like listening to some guy do an interview with Gordon Soley or Jim Ross or something. That was amazing.
No, the one thing I'll say, and
I've served in Vietnam, and Nebraska's done the most damage.
Hats off to Rich. Rich has somehow taken this post-game show from doom and gloom to smiling and laughing and enjoying it. Hats off to you, Rich. And can I, as we maybe begin to wind things down here, we crossed the hour and 20-minute mark. Can we sit back and just say, you know what? Nebraska is going to be playing another football game in a month.
Yep.
We're so used to the walk-off field goal against Iowa being the end of the season.
You know what tonight
I
did,
think
though?
it's easy to go.
Tonight zapped.
Oh,
The bowl
absolutely. Don't get me
game's
wrong.
Fine, but no one gives a damn.
No, don't get me wrong. This has sapped the energy and the momentum of what Nebraska fans had for the past week. It's right back to how you felt following the losing streak. And there's things that need to be done. Like, you know what? South Dakota State or North Dakota State or Northwest Missouri State or somebody has to have a damn long snapper that you can go find in the transfer portal and bring him in. There's going to be younger guys. You saw the effect of Riley Van Poppel that are going to be getting more snaps next season. They're going to be putting in work this offseason. They're going to get the extra bowl practices. There's going to be changes made from a coaching staff point of view this offseason. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot that needs to be fixed. I think tonight is a great example of why things need to be fixed and why things need to change within this program. But this season, at the end of the day, was still a small step in the right direction. I kind of look back to what Fred Hoiberg, what happened with him after year 2, where so much of the talent that he brought in wasn't right. The evaluation of his talent wasn't right. The coaching style didn't fit the players that he had. And what did he do after year 2? He made wholesale changes to what he was doing with the Husker basketball program. Tonight's a reminder that, you know what, this Husker football team and Matt Rhule still needs some wholesale changes. They need to make wholesale changes in this offseason. They need to make tweaks to the type of guys they bring in. They need to make tweaks to what they want to be, both offensively and defensively. But you still made a small step forward in the right direction. You're still going to be playing in a bowl game next month. Husker fans still going to go somewhere warm in the month of December. You get to enjoy your holiday break in that way.
I don't know.
You can sit back and say, you know what? There's so much that isn't right with this Husker football program, but you know what? At least he got what the baseline bare minimum expectation was for the season, which is a bowl game.
You need a lot to fix. You need to just demand better. Period. And you need to evaluate talent better. And this is not okay, and it can't be okay moving forward on special teams. It can't be okay moving forward on offense with guys not making plays, because Nayor and Banks had some nice plays tonight. Banks was not an issue tonight, but you know, Nayor, you need to see Lloyd. I like the running game. I mean, there are things, but just be more consistent with it. And listen, it's game 3 for Dana. You know, I think they're going to demand it to be better. No more toleration. Period. With losing tight ball games, and if that means, I mean, Dana was losing his mind early in the game on the sideline at what wasn't happening with Dylan. He wasn't making some of the plays. Now he got his feet involved a little more, which was all right. I welcomed that. But no, I think he settled down, or it was emphasized to him, you better start making some throws. I think, because you know, there are plays to be made, there are yards to pick up, there's scores to be had. It can't come down to 2 fumbles against a team that can't complete a forward pass and a running back you shut down. This was Michigan State 2.0.
Yeah,
that's how dominant the defense was.
Guys, let's also be honest with what's coming up. There's got to be hard conversations with guys that want to come back that we don't need to have back here. There's guys that don't need to be here anymore, right? There's hard conversations with going to the 105. Like, guys say, hey, I want to come back, but like, you don't need to come back. it's time to turn the page on some of these guys that say, I want to be here, but I don't want you here anymore. They got to do that. If you're going to improve and get better, out with some of that crap.
Yeah,
In
you've
with
got
some of the
to
guys that want to
demand
play.
better. You got to demand
Yes.
better from your coaches too.
Well, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Is tonight is the reminder that Dana Holgerson was not a quick fix, one-stop shop to fix some of the deeper issues within this Husker football program. Tonight was the reminder. There's deeper-seated issues within this program. Maybe you need the young guys to step up and make some more plays, get more playing time in order to fix some issues. Maybe you need to do wholesale changes to a lot of your offensive staff, to special teams, to things that have been causing you issues. I'm not paid millions of dollars like Matt Rhule is, so I don't have the answer for you right now in a quick-fire reaction show following the loss. But that's what tonight was. It's a reminder that there's still a lot of issues within this Husker football program, and Matt Rhule is going to earn his millions this offseason trying to go fix them. But you know what, Husker fans? You got a bowl game next month. You got that. That's a small step in the right direction, and it's a bit of a hollow victory to get that bowl game with how this season ended tonight. But a victory is still a victory, and I think you take it where you can get it, and you say, senior class, you've been through hell. You get your bowl game. Now let's see what the future is.
That's the most important thing. If this had been, I said this earlier today, if this had been the game to go to a bowl game, if this was the chasing six game, and
you're 5-7, oh my Lord!
Right, and if you're chasing six, going into this game today, and you dominate the game in the way you did, and then you lose it in the way you did, can you imagine what every reaction show would be like tonight? What it would be like until next February, March, whenever spring football begins? I mean, I know people think that recruiting is a season all to itself. I choose not to necessarily participate, but I cannot imagine what tonight would be like without having 6 wins under their belt. So that's why I say, look, losing the game today in the way they did is mind-boggling. I'm just stunned at how it went down. But to have a turnover again and at the end of the game and you got a chance to go win it yourself.
Just waiting for it, man.
And then you fumble it away that way. And then that's the kick, the ball sneaks through and over the upright. It's mystifying, but because Nebraska is going to a bowl game, there is, for those of you who participate in recruiting with the big jar of petroleum, I know that you're going to be excited in the next couple of weeks because you think that going to a bowl game is going to be a big deal. And then you've got bowl preparations and the game itself. December is much different with 6 wins now. If they lose the bowl game, yeah, that'll suck. You're 6-7. But man, if they were close to getting the bowl game tonight, if they had to have the win tonight to go to a bowl game, and this happened, people would be tearing the stadium down right now and helping Troy Gannon up for free.
Yeah, that's we are 2 minutes from last call. 489-1240. That's Will Wilson, Bill Hooks, Bill Dolman, Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt, Elijah and I in Iowa City.
And a quick reminder,
Real Red Reaction. We'll be locking and loading tomorrow.
Yeah, there it is.
With the weekend edition of Hail Varsity at 7:45. Hail Varsity YouTube. The Average Joe Sports Show Sunday live pod at 10:30
ish.
And you can't. I'll say this. All right, you got to 6. You had a chance to be 7-5 going bowling in Florida. You're going to be 6-6, likely going to Nashville. You can't end the year 6-7. As much joy as you had last Saturday with who you beat and how you did it. A lot of whiteout was dumped tonight because, listen, dude, 10-0 felt like 20-0. It just did. I mean, Iowa had one arm and one leg tied behind their back.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, the play calls for Dana, I mean, he ran the football. And the passes that Dylan did throw that should have been first and goal situations weren't caught. Or if he decided not to throw it, you had a strip sack fumble. There's work for him to do, sure. But I just pray that they can get on the same page and just demand better, because it can't happen anymore.
Here's the thing, too.
You're not going to win every game. Totally get it. But you can't do this anymore, because it's going to infect your football team.
Here's another thing about recruiting, okay? And, Matt Rhule's been on the job now for 2 years, and Nebraska did get a jump on the coaching carousel and recruiting cycle in 2022. But at that point, you are still scrambling to put a class together. And there are guys that Nebraska signed that have already entered the portal. One big name from Lincoln. There's a defensive back, I think, that's gone in. I think Bryce Turner like the first person that Nebraska got to commit, the speedster out of Texas who could run like a 10 flat 100 or something. There are players that they signed in that first recruiting class that may or may not be here at all either. So what I'm saying is that the second recruiting class is the one where they really needed to nail the players. And Rhule is the crown jewel of that class right now, but you don't know the players that they brought in already who are going to be impact players in the coming years. Half of his class might be gone from 2022-23.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is everybody gets excited about who they brought in and all the great things that were said about them. But as they get down to 105, there's a lot of people that they were telling you were great when they put their first class together, that they were kind of guessing on to begin with, because they're just trying to get 20, 25 people to sign, right?
Luckily, things shift. Go get 10 guys that can help you right out of high school, and be right with your portal evaluations. Final thought, Hooksy. Final thought, Will. Final thought, Elijah.
First of all, I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I know that it did not end the way we wanted it to tonight, but for me, I agree with what Matt said. It's like, hey, we got to get better. Got to make plays. And for me, out with some of the old. Like, we appreciate the old, right? We appreciate what they did. We appreciate their time here. It is time to turn the page. This bowl season, getting these young kids some good reps. Let's see where this thing goes. Get Dana signed up, and let's get this thing going and win a bowl game.
Will?
Let's see. It's 11:30, 2.5 hours left at the bars. That's 4 banquets. Raffle. Yeah, that's my night right there, guys.
Hey,
yeah.
Cheers.
Dolman.
I guess I'll see you later. Look, I said what I said a moment ago. Getting to 6, I know it's not satisfying, but it has to be satisfactory. And Nebraska lost the game in the most implausible way for the second consecutive year to Iowa. And I'm just going to go back to Elijah said something earlier, that Iowa figures out a way to win games, but their trophy case would indicate that they don't know how to win big games. And I don't care if it's been 20 plus years since Nebraska did. They can come home tonight and dust off 5 national championship trophies that Iowa can only dream about. So there.
But, done. Boom.
But 6 is not satisfying, but it has to be satisfactory as this thing, this large ship continues to get turned in the right direction. And I'm heartened by that. There are a lot of young guys out there making significant contributions, and if Nebraska can keep those guys in the fold and keep Uncle Luther's money away from Miami and whoever else is going to be coming after. But Shavers and Barney, McGahee, Riola, Nelson, there's a lot of young players that they did get in year 2 of recruiting that are making significant impacts. And so I do like that. I do like the young players that they have. And I can't believe what happened, but I can't believe what is going to happen with for Nebraska football in the future.
Well, that'll wind us down.
I got a final thought here. Just one more for me. It's short and sweet. I won't be too long with it. It's going to be a long off season. It feels like it always is, but the way that this regular season ended, there's going to be a lot of big decisions that need to be made from Matt Rhule with his offensive coaching staff, special teams, his roster. It's going to be a long offseason, very important decisions, a very important offseason for Matt Rhule in order to make sure that this season was a step in the right direction and that you don't rip up your, one game of progress this year. You made a bowl game, step in the right direction, but there are big decisions, there are big changes that need to be made within the Husker football program. Tonight was the evidence of that. But on the bright side, if you want to have a glass half full type view on this team, at least the offseason doesn't start tonight. At least it starts technically a month from now. You got one more game left. Husker fans, you've been crying for a bowl game for 8 years now. You have your bowl game. Enjoy football in December or January or whenever it is, and lock yourselves in for the long and difficult offseason, because there is a lot that needs to change still with this Husker football program if they want to reach the heights that Matt Rhule wants to take them to.
Big game, Riley Van Poppel, way to knock the dust off. Big time tonight. Ty Robinson, big time tonight. Nebraska's defense almost played perfect. Unfortunately, you've got to play perfect against Iowa and Iowa City when your offense is still trying to find itself. Big fan of Dana Holgorsen. Hope he stays if you're a Nebraska fan. Bigger fan of better evaluation moving forward with who you get, who you want in the portal. And we'll see if change continues to come with this football program. It was do or die, eject or detonate when you made the move to bring Holgorsen in. That's how vital he was to get some sort of life to your offense. 10 points is not enough life.
There it is.
But it was there to add more than just 10 or 13 or 20 or whatever was missed and left on the field. So we'll be back at it tomorrow with the weekend edition of Hail Varsity YouTube at 7:45. Average Joe Sports Show tomorrow, I should say Sunday, live at 10:30. Be safe, pour one, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Say no more.
Bill Dolman, thank you. Bill Hooks, thank you. Will Wilson, thank you. Elijah, appreciate you. As we're closing it down here in Iowa City with KFOR, KFORnow.com. Thanks.